Shalom. Call Halayim La, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles, the elders of Great Millstone. That's GMS. Peace and blessings to the Akim and a few Akwath across the four winds. This is your brother Batamaya from Great Millstone, Houston, coming to you with another lesson. I follow Stoic Army on Instagram, so I screenshot and took wanted to use this quote for a lesson. Received without pride, let go without attachment. So the precepts that I want to go into, the point is mainly in Sirach or Ecclesiasticus chapter 4, verse 31, but I'm going to start at 29. Sirach or Ecclesiasticus chapter 4, verse 29. Be not hasty in thy tongue, and in thy deeds slack and remiss. So I do want to pull some definitions also, just to get a better understanding. First, I'm going to go into hasty. Etymology online. Mid-14th century, early, demanding haste, urgent, quick-tempered, or angry. So we don't want to be, angry or quick-tempered, with our tongue. Especially when you're talking to brothers, because you have to realize that when you're talking to brothers, you're talking, ultimately to Yahweh, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. So you're going to treat our brothers as if they are Yahweh Shai on the earth. And in thy deeds, slack and remiss. Now I wanted to look up remiss. Early 15th century, weak, dissolve, loose, slack, lacking in force or energy. Characterized by lack of strictness or due restraint, also a person slack in the discharge of a task or duty, characterized by negligence. Relaxed, languid, negligent, slacking, abate, let go. So I'm going to look up languid and abate also. But you don't want to be characterized by lack of strictness or due restraint or lacking in force of energy. You want to be, I'll say enthusiastic. You don't have to be overzealous about it, but you do, you should be zealous about, showing your zeal about willing, to help a brother in this thing. And then I looked up languid, just on the Google definition of a person, manner, or gesture displaying or having a disinclination for physical exertion or effort, slow and relaxed. So you don't want to be slow and relaxed if a brother asks you for something, You want to, pretty much do it, as soon as possible. And then disinclination, I want to look that up on the Google definition also. A reluctance or lack of enthusiasm. Like I was saying, you don't want to be unenthusiastic about helping a brother. Like that's not the right thing to do in this body and this thing of ours. You want to do for a brother where, I say small or great. You don't want to show for more effort than to helping out an apostle, opposed to a brother that you see every day. You want to show forth that same type of energy. Of course there are levels to this, but you still want to be fervent. You want to be on fire, for helping a brother, small or great. What I said, abate, that's what it was. Abate, I looked that up on the Google definition also, of something perceived as hostile, threatening, or negative become less intense or widespread. Cause to become smaller or less intense. Lessen, reduce, or remove, especially a nuisance. So, something that's negative or hostile or threatening, you don't want to come off as hostile, towards a brother. Especially with that tongue. And then the precept I have for that is, give me one second. The precept I have for that was Proverbs chapter 18, verse 21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. So in this thing of ours, we comfort one another with these words, with these scriptures, with these precepts, that gives us life. So you don't want to be, like I read in debate, you don't want to be hostile or negative or threatening towards a brother, because that brings forth death. You don't want to bring a brother, down. Of course, we get rebuked and reprove, but rebuke is to tear you down, but it's ultimately to build you up, to make you a better man, because ultimately, we want to be better men. We want to be better men of the Lord in this thing of ours. And you reap what you sow. So if you're reaping, or shall I say, if you're sowing, life, then you're going to reap life. So that's what we want to do to one another. We want to speak life into one another. We want to help each other be lively. That's why the apostles always say, be on fire, because your fire can spark another brother's fire, and then ultimately we have a big flame. I like to think of it as the in the Olympics when they're carrying a torch. Ultimately towards the end, if everybody's, you passing on that fire, and then at the end, it's a big, I say a bonfire, like this, like a big, I don't even know what to really call it, but at the end, they put the torch in the thing, and it's a bigger flame than what they had, on their journey. Then back to the quote, receive without pride, let go without attachment. So I want to look up pride and attachment, or even attach. So pride, so like in etymology, unreasonable self-esteem, especially as one of the deadly sins, haughtiness, overbearing treatment of others, pomp, love of display. And then we know, actually, let me get that too. That's one of my favorite precepts. Proverbs chapter 16, verse 18. Pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. When you got a haughty spirit, you got your nose in the air, you're arrogant. You don't want to be arrogant with your nose in your air to the brother. We all fighting for that penny, and you showing, pride, can get you ultimately kicked out of the camp, and, ultimately kicked out of the truth, and then you'll be destroyed. You'll be back in the world. Ain't nothing in the world but death and destruction. That's why we want to continue to be in the body. And then attach. This is an etymology, to take or see, mid 14th century or mid 13th century in Anglo-Latin, to take or seize property or goods by law. And then the law is the law, statutes, and commandments of these scriptures. You want to treat, brothers the way you want to be treated. And then scroll down. Was it the verb? I'll just scroll down to attached, affectionate, devoted, fond. I don't even, what's fond? Let me look up fond. Late 14th century, deranged, insane. Also foolish, silly, unwise. We don't want to be silly or foolish or unwise in this thing of ours. We want to use the law, these precepts of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, so that, we could be the opposite of this, so that we can be wise and not unwise, as the definition in this word fond to mean. Ooh, also it says a fool, a stupid person. The scriptures say, I'll just say the 2/3, they're childish children. So back in Sirach chapter 4, make sure I didn't miss nothing, Salakia. Sirach chapter 4, verse 30. Be not as a lion in thy house, nor frantic among thy servants. And then I wanted to look up that word, frantic, I looked it up on a Google. It doesn't have the K on the end of it, but it's still frantic. So it means wild or distraught with fear, anxiety, or other emotion. Conducted in a hurried, excited, or chaotic way, typically because of the need to act quickly. So if you're hasting, you're acting quickly. You know, scriptures say, "Be ye angry and sin not." So when you angry, you know, you're not thinking, you're not sitting back and letting it soak in. You're not, analyzing the situation at hand. Then once you do that, things become, chaotic. Therefore, chaos is going to come if you're, angry and distraught, being a lion in the house, like just walking around like you big shit. You don't want to do that. You want to be humble in this thing. You want to be meek, just being around the elders. I just say the heads of camp, the young elders, and then being around some elders and then elder apostles. Hey, these are humble men. And you have, guys in these other, I just say in these other camps, they never been around the apostles or the elders or the young elders, and you got them calling them wicked, and they hadn't even been around them. They're bearing false witness. Just want to make sure I cover what I got. Salakia. And then, so here's the point. I'll read that again. Sirach 4:30. Be not as a lion in thy house, nor frantic among thy servants. Treating one another, your fellow brethren, your fellow servant, as you would Yahweh Shai. But this is the main point that I wanted to get. The first precept that really came to mind when I read the quote, receive without pride. Salakia, receive without pride, let go without attachment. Sirach or Ecclesiasticus chapter 4 verse 31. Let not thy hand be stretched out to receive, and shut when thou shouldest repay. So, when you're in need, you're the first one to reach out, then you get help. But when it's time for you to help, you got different excuses, or, you're not available. That's not a good look, because, brothers will be reluctant to even help you. Like, they might not even want to help you as much, So you don't want to have your hand out and not, want to give back. I had another, the last precept I had. I'll just give you an example before I grab this last precept. So let's say I don't work on cars, but there's brothers in the camp that's good at working on cars. You have a brother check out your car, and then a brother turn around and ask you for something. I like food, I like shoes and clothes. A brother might need help, paying for some food, or he might, need some sneakers or something to go hoop in, and y'all wear, about the same size shoe. You don't even want to give that brother, some shoes. I know for me, I have a bunch of shoes. So me not giving a brother a pair of shoes, and we about to go hoop or something, or even just to work out, or just, if we going out and the brother might not even have like some dress shoes or some casual shoes for the type of event, you want to be there to help that brother. He worked on your car. Why can't you turn around and let that brother borrow some shoes, or even just give him a pair of shoes, especially if you just sit on a bunch of clothes and shoes. Like, hey, these things are going to be burnt up anyway. And then the last precept I had was Acts chapter 20 verse 35. I have showed you all things, how that so laboring ye ought to support the weak, and to remember the words of the Lord Yahweh Shai, how he said, it is more blessed to give than to receive. So giving is better than receiving, because when you're giving, you're giving to Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, because Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai gave it to you in the first place. So helping out the brother, you're helping out the body, But that's pretty much all that I had. Lord willingness was edifying to the hopeful elect. Call Halayim La, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles, the elders of Great Millstone. That's GMS. Peace and blessings to the Akim and a few Akwath across the four winds. The hopeful elect, the 12,000 men from the 12 tribes of Israel. You know, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and then the rest of the 1/3, the men, women, and children of Israel, and then those that look like the other heathen nations. You know, Shalom and Kwam Yashala.